Good morning. Let me begin by saying that our caucus heard an update on the situation in Boulder, Colorado, and the horrendous attack that injured 12 innocent people. Anti-Semitism has no place in American life, and we stand with the Jewish community in this difficult hour and always. Republicans in Congress don't care if your health care is too expensive, and they don't care if you can't afford your medical bills. They voted for what Elon Musk called a disgusting abomination, a Republican budget that throws millions of Americans off of their health insurance. Republicans don't care if their tariffs are raising your prices across the board and making it harder to make ends meet. They voted to take away food assistance for families, seniors, and veterans, and they'll continue to reward billionaire donors who keep them in office with tax breaks so they can hold on to power. They're getting rich off of the stock trades while working people worry about losing their jobs. When confronted with the truth, they often just lie, or they show their true colors, like one Republican senator did by dismissing concerns that Medicaid cuts might lead to unnecessary deaths as a result of their disgusting abomination, kicking millions off of their health care. We're all going to die, she said. That is the Republican health care plan in a nutshell. And that's why Republicans can't be trusted to make your health care or anything else more affordable for working families. Vice Chair Ted Lieu.
Thank you, Chairman Aguilar. I also condemn the horrific terrorist attack in Boulder, Colorado. About a dozen people were burned, some critically, because of a terrorist who threw essentially Molotov cocktails at a group of Jewish Americans. And let me just be clear. Hamas is a genocidal, homicidal, extreme terrorist organization who attacked Israel, not the other way around. And now Jewish Americans in America are fearing for their safety because of folks who are committing brazen acts of anti-Semitism. We need to call it out when we see it, and I urge that the person be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law who committed this heinous terrorist attack. I'd like to now talk about Senator Joni Ernst's statement that we all are going to die. She is correct that we all are going to die, but it shouldn't be at the hands of Republican legislation. And the Republicans' big, ugly bill is going to cause unnecessary death. So then Senator Ernst doubled down on her statement and did a video of herself walking through a cemetery, again talking about what she said, and then she ended by citing Jesus. So I'm just a simple Catholic. But let me just tell you, I actually read the Gospels, and Jesus goes around healing people. That's what he does, right? He heals a woman who was blind. He heals a person who had leprosy. He heals a person who was paralyzed. 41 acts of healing in the Gospels. That's what Jesus did in terms of acts. So it's exactly the opposite of what Senator Ernst is saying. And call me old-fashioned, but I think the goal of government is not to hasten the deaths of Americans. It is to make the lives of Americans better. And clearly this big, ugly bill is not going to do that. And now we see some Republican members who are opposed to it because guess what? They didn't read the bill. So Marjorie Taylor Greene yesterday opposes a provision which is a 10-year moratorium on states regulating artificial intelligence. So I agree with Marjorie Taylor Greene once every 100 years. This is that time. I agree that this 10-year provision is extreme. It's going to cause unnecessary harm. And look, I think the federal government is fine doing preemption when we preempt with something. You can't just preempt with nothing. And this is a bad provision, and I hope the Senate will take out this 10-year moratorium.
Thank you, Ted. Questions? I think Vice Chair Lou and I have had the privilege of serving with a lot of members who have moved on to other jobs within public service, whether that's our former colleague and the Attorney General Javier Becerra to Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham. Members are going to seek opportunities to serve their constituents in different ways. That's the blessing of being a House member, is folks will take opportunities. And then last cycle, obviously, we saw different opportunities with now Senator Andy Kim and Senator Gallego, Senator Slotkin, right, all coming from Lisa Blunt Rochester, all coming from the House. We take a lot of pride in that, the fact that we have some friends over there who used to be House members. So we take it as an opportunity for renewal, to hear from the perspectives of new members, those new members who replaced our former colleagues. But then personally, it's a point of pride that we now have the ability to bounce ideas off of folks in the other chamber. I said other chamber, not upper chamber, by the way, when we talk about the U.S. Senate. So I look, this is an opportunity for us to continue to benefit from new ideas of those new members and build on existing relationships for those folks who have moved on to other jobs. Michael?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. There's a debate in the Senate right now over Russia's sanctions package. Lindsey Graham, Richard Blumenthal are trying to push Leader Thune to bring that particular bill to the floor. I wanted to get the caucus's thoughts on imposing additional sanctions on Russia. And what do you make of the president's shift in tone towards Vladimir Putin? He's put out some recent, Truth Social posts saying that he's surprised by, Putin's unwillingness to engage in good faith peace talks. I want to get your thoughts on that.
I think many of us in Capitol Hill warned him in dealing with Vladimir Putin. And I think that you're seeing that now. This seems like the upside down, right? Donald Trump's former friends and Vladimir Putin and Elon Musk are now not besties. I can't keep track of it anymore. But Russia is a threat. We have voted for sanctions for Russia previously. We continue to view it through the lens of national security, and we will be willing and ready to make deliberations and votes if there are packages and proposals. But I think right now the effort that the Senate is undertaking is more of an effort to get Donald Trump to be supportive of Russian sanctions than it is to get the House of Representatives to be supportive of Russian sanctions. They clearly are trying to work Donald Trump to get to this position, and we'll see what happens in the weeks to come.
Vladimir Putin has repeatedly said that Ukraine is a part of Russia. And Putin attacked Ukraine, Crimea, and then when there was not a good response from the West, he attacked again Ukraine a second time. And my view is Putin will not stop until his troops are defeated on the battlefield. And I urge the Trump administration to understand that fact. And I believe the best way to get Putin to the negotiating table is to apply maximum pressure in terms of sanctions, give Ukraine what they need to defeat Russian troops on the battlefield, and then we'll get Putin to the negotiating table.
Nick?
There's a number of your members who are speaking at this Welcome Fest this week, Ludo types. Is it helpful to your party trying to come together for these folks to be going so far on an ideological limb?
It's helpful for members of our party to meet with outside voices, to talk about an agenda that puts working families first. And that's how I viewed those discussions, which is what is our strategy as a party to put working families first? How do we lower the costs that people face? Clearly, we're united against this one ugly bill that House Republicans passed that is now over in the Senate. And we will clearly work on different items to lower the costs that people face. We've talked often about those, child tax credit, low-income housing credit, all of these pieces that are so instrumental in helping working families get forward. So I think that that's always important to huddle with colleagues and friends and stakeholders to make sure that we're on the same page, and that's how I viewed the conference. But I wasn't there.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. The Republicans were just in here. They blamed Democrats and immigration policies for the attack in Boulder, specifically because this individual was here illegally. Do you wish that Democrats over the last 4 years had handled the immigration issue differently?
I think right now we're thinking about the 12 people who have injuries as a result of the attack. I'm sure there will be opportunities to dig deeper on the status of the individual who perpetrated this heinous act. I don't think it was hours before Republicans were already sounding the alarm about immigration policies, closely tying it to this attack. There'll be opportunities to dig deeper in his status. Obviously, we believe that it's not okay to overstay a visa, but let's understand the facts before we make declarations, and let's think about the folks, including one or two that are in critical condition, before we start injecting the Republican talking points on the political side. Go ahead. Yeah.
Thank you. So coming up, you have the oversight ranking member race. That's going to be a big deal in the Democratic caucus, and it's kind of another pivotal moment for the party to determine who's going to be the next leader of this powerful committee and whether they go with somebody younger who's eager and has a lot of energy versus someone who has a lot of experience. And I know you've talked before about the caucus weighing several different things when you're picking a new member. What are things that the caucus is going to be looking at, and what do you think should be the quality of the next ranking member?
The caucus will have the opportunity to weigh that and vote. The vice chair and I noticed the election for 3 weeks from now at our regularly scheduled caucus meetings. Our expectation is that the 4 candidates will make their way to meet with members, and this will give them ample opportunity to do that. I think members, any member, will view that race through the lens of experience, willingness to do the hard work of oversight, the important portfolio that oversight contains within the federal workforce, I think, is also incredibly important. As we've said before, seniority and length of tenure is always a factor, but it is one of many factors that members consider, and members will arrive at their own decisions and make a pick for the ranking member position. That's our expectation. The vice chair and I are tasked with presiding over the election. So our job is to just make sure that it's done in a fair way and to make sure that the members hear directly from the candidates.
I just want to say that just because someone's a senior member doesn't mean they have less energy. One point of fact, Speaker Pelosi had and continues to have more energy than most human beings that I know.
Thank you.